Hello reader friends! Today I want to talk about something that's kind of not related to reading, but still in the same kind of vein, writing and reading, and that is NaNoWriMo! So if you don't know what NaNoWriMo is, the acronym, kind of strange acronym, stands for National Novel Writing Month. It's not really an acronym at all. It's just kind of a combination of all those words. Taking place in the month of November, NaNoWriMo is a website platform where you can challenge yourself to write a certain amount of words in a single month. The traditional word count goal of NaNoWriMo is 50,000 words, and that's what you can participate on the main site, which I did this year. But you can also challenge yourself to write however many words you want. The main goal of NaNoWriMo is just that you are writing every day, and you are contributing to your work in progress every day as the month goes on. I've been participating in NaNoWriMo for... This is my 5th year doing NaNoWriMo! This isn't my 5th November NaNoWriMo, but it is my 5th year doing NaNoWriMo. Because one year, instead of doing National Novel Writing Month of November, I did Camp NaNoWriMo. Since there are different months of National Novel Writing Month depending on what your schedule looks like, you can do the traditional NaNoWriMo in November, you can do Camp NaNoWriMo in either, I think it's in either April or like July now. I don't know, but there's lots of different times you can do NaNoWriMo. Usually I go for November though. This year I finally upgraded to the adult site and took on the huge challenge of 50,000 words. I started doing NaNoWriMo because the English teacher at my middle school had been doing it, and she led a group of students to do it, and she was what really inspired me to start writing for myself. The first year I did NaNoWriMo, I wrote an ambitious 15,000 words. It doesn't seem like that much now since this last November I wrote 50,000, but I wrote every single one of those 50K I wrote by hand in a tiny notebook, and I'd like to believe that my storytelling abilities have grown tremendously since those days. I think the next year that I did NaNoWriMo I did about 20,000 words. And then the following 2 years after that, I'd been writing 30,000 words on the Youth NaNoWriMo site. I was gonna continue my pattern of upping my word count just by like 10,000, 5,000 words each year until I finally got to the grand goal of 50,000. But Gretel was like, yo, Ella, guess what? I'm 18 this year. I can't do the Youth NaNoWriMo site this November. And I was like, oh, that's bad, man. And she was like, yeah, you should come on the adult NaNoWriMo site this year with me. And I was like, oh, all right, I guess we're doing it. So I signed up for the adult NaNoWriMo site in October, and I put in my goal for 50,000 words. At the beginning of the month, I thought I was not going to make it at all. I was just gonna be proud if I surpassed my previous word count goal of 30,000, and that was all I was gonna go for. What I told myself was that I just wanted to try and make the guaranteed number of words each day so you could win NaNoWriMo, and that's 1,667. And even though I went through a lot of like ups and downs over the month, you can see my graph of the month right here. My usual pattern would be write my 1,667 words one day, and the next day not write, and the next day be like, oh shoot, I didn't write the next day, then write like 3,000 words to catch up, and that would happen over and over and over again. But I stayed determined, and I managed to write 50,000 words. I mean, all of it's crap, and I'm probably gonna have to throw all of it out because I know how to fix my story now, but it's the start, and it's the first push that I think a lot of people need in their writing projects. My history with after NaNoWriMo hasn't been that great. Usually I just write my NaNoWriMo and then I'm like, I'll edit it, and then I just don't. But I think this year I finally hit the age where I have the determination and the abilities and resources to actually revise my work, and I'm really invested in this project, and it's really important to me right now. So I think I'm definitely gonna rewrite and revise. I'm telling myself I want a break right now. I want to take a week's break. I already broke that break rule. I wrote a whole scene yesterday because I got inspiration. But I'm making this video in part to celebrate my accomplishments and the accomplishments of everyone who wrote during NaNoWriMo. No matter how many words you wrote, no matter what you achieved, I know I'm proud of you, and I hope you're proud of yourself too. And also to keep myself accountable and promise that I will revise this work and I will keep perfecting it and making it better. So long as I shall live. No, as long until it's done, I guess. Or as long as I can fully stand it without going crazy. No matter if you hit your word count goal this November or not, It's important to remember that you did take on the challenge and you did write. And that's what the real goal of NaNoWriMo is to kickstart your projects and to kickstart that creativity and that work ethic that's so important when writing a book. The reason this NaNoWriMo project is so important to me and that I want to continue it is because it's one of the first projects that I actually had a lot of planning for before going in, and I think that was really important in my writing process and it helped me not get lost. I'm not really a plotter or a pantser, I'm kind of a mix of both. I like to have like a general outline of where my story's going, like the beginning and then the end, and then kind of all the characters and what their relationships are, but then I just kind of go from there and just fill everything in. Like if a scene comes to me, I'm not gonna be like, no, I can't write that scene because it's not in my outline. I'm just gonna write that scene and it's gonna fit into the story somehow, one way or another. Also, scenes that I thought were going to be in my story are not going to be written. In the grand scheme of things, they really don't matter. The way I succeeded this November is a combination of forcing myself to write things I didn't want to write and rewarding myself by writing things I did want to write. Because there are some scenes that are hard to write, that make you sad to write because they're so awful and I feel so bad for my characters. But you have to work through that for the greater good of the story. This is a whole different point from being like, I can't write this scene because it doesn't fit and it's not realistic to my characters. I'm just saying like, this scene is painful for me to write because I care so much about my characters and I don't want to put them through terrible things. I am a Becky Albertelli and not a George R.R. Martin, as I said to Gretel the other day. Another reason I really like NaNoWriMo is because it creates a kind of like a whole writing community, because people all over the country, I don't know if people all over the world do it, but definitely all over the US do it, and they can all connect through the NaNoWriMo website. This isn't a sponsored video, I know it sounds like that, but it's not. And there's all kinds of forums where you can talk to other novelists, and it's kind of a tradition that's been really special to me over the years, and I'm so glad that I finally took the challenge to do the full 50,000 words this year. So I bet people want to know what I wrote about, because I've just been rambling about writing, but not telling you what I actually wrote about. I'm actually really bad at sharing what my work in progresses are about, usually mostly to my family, and I've been trying to fix that and open up to people a little bit more about what's going on inside my head, but I feel like whenever I write something, it's not good enough to share, and I feel like they'll judge me for my ideas. Since they're not readers or writers they won't understand, it's something I'm working on. I don't want to tell you completely what my novel is about for that reason, and because I know it's gonna change, and it's already changed since I've written it. Since I finished the 50,000 words, I was like, I know how to fix it, and it's gonna completely change and be a completely different book. And I bet in 2 months from now, it's gonna be completely different than what it was. I can tell you a couple things that I don't think are gonna change though, I guess. So, my main character is a gay white girl who really loves jazz, and she has a best friend named Juan, who, like, my favorite character, and I loved writing him. He's just so great, oh my god. And my book kind of deals with themes of like race and jazz music, because I'm a nerd. I love jazz. Race and jazz music and LGBT representation and finding your identity as a teenager and high school. And it's just a big monstrosity, and I can't wait to edit it and get into a coherent story. I think that's gonna be the end of this video. Thanks so much for listening to me ramble about NaNoWriMo and how much it means to me. Let me know if you did NaNoWriMo in the comments if I don't already know, and if you hit your goal. I hope your writing projects are going well, and I hope you have a great time reading. Till I see you next time. Bye!